without a script. So I'm very thankful for the trust Bela gave me. It's actually the first actor I've ever worked with na nag-yes sa akin na wala pang script. She just gave me her trust. And that inspired me to really do my best. And we've always wanted to work together naman. I know we've been always messaging each other, trying to find the right story. There was a script. I know she's pitching me some ideas as well. It just so happened that MAñANITA was ready. And she said yes, and then we shot it, and we're here now today. So, thank you, Bela.
Thank you, Direct Paul.
Direct, I noticed that this looks so different from the past films you've done, like Soriano, and the rest of them. So, were you influenced by the scriptwriter Love Diaz in your vision in this movie?
Love Diaz definitely had a huge inspiration in the creation of MAñANITA. I'm not afraid to say that. Ever since I produced for Love in 2015 for Helen, I started to kind of learn and research his style. He became like a mentor to me, like an older brother, and we've had a lot of discussion about film, about life to this day. And when I pitched him the story, when I tell him the story, he instantly wanted to collaborate. He said, "Let me write it for you." It was 8 pages long. And he goes, "Shoot na yan." He goes, "I leave it up to you. I trust you, Paul, as the director, to now put it on the big screen." So definitely an homage to Love and to his style, which is more or less transcendental. Of course, other filmmakers that I studied was the likes of Paul Schrader. Of course, there's Ozu, Tarkovsky. Those are the other filmmakers from world cinema that I also studied. But in terms of my style, yes, you're right. This is very different from my last films that I've directed, I've produced. But I feel this is the most personal film that I've ever done as well. Meaning, as a filmmaker today, I believe this is really who I am. And it took me, I guess, 13 years to earn that respect, that right to be able to produce, direct a film like this. Because my collaborators gave me all the trust from, of course, from Bela to Love and to my whole team that helped me. But yeah, MAñANITA is very personal. It's really kind of who I am today. It doesn't mean I'm not going to go back to doing other, the likes of Siargao or Lupot or Kulafu. But I think MAñANITA best defines who I am as a filmmaker today.
You said there were only 8 pages of the script, so that means there's very minimal dialogue throughout the movie.
Definitely, yes. Actually, I think Bela only talks 40 minutes into the film, 40-45 minutes. It's the first time you hear Bela's, or Idelberto's voice. That's why I said earlier, the songs play a big role, because there's a lot of songs in the beginning. So, and I chose each song carefully from the works of Asin, Joy Ayala, Freddy Aguilar. It was also that kind of era is the music that you will hear and listen to in MAñANITA. And the lyrics are actually what I hope hits you. As I mentioned before, the film is really a serenade to you guys, not to the audience.
Okay, that's all. I wish you well. I wish you will find the audience that will listen.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Sir
Thank you,
Mario.
Mario. Sir Pablo.
Hey, Pablo.
Tarima.
Hi, hello. Hi, Paul. I saw the movie.
Yes, I know you were there 2 days ago.
And I like it. It's something very different. And
Thank you, thank you.
my question is, how tough was doing this film, and why were you so obsessed with such? The film had very silent atmosphere.
Mike po. Hello?
Yeah, the film has something, has a silent portrait about it that I really liked. I like the way it was crafted and the way. But then, my question is, how tough was doing this kind of film, and did you have the mainstream audience in mind when you did this film?
Yeah, Pablo, thank you for the questions and thank you for for being there at the premiere night. I really believe that in silence you can say so much more. And I think that's, I would like to hear Bela's answer also, because without much dialogue, without much co-actors, her process of just internalizing everything, the nuisances, the eyes, the emotions, the way she walked, the environment, it was all part of the experience. So in the regards of it being tough, definitely was extremely tough, also because as a director, I was really playing on the elements of a character-driven film. I had Bela, she's pretty much in the whole film. Majority of the film she's alone, or she's with one or other two actors, that's about it. The tough part for me really was, I think it was just having the courage to tell a story like this. Having to go out of my box, out of my comfort zone, and kind of present, my voice to an audience that already has seen, past works. A lot of people I've been reading online saying it's my most inaccessible work. But you also asked about my audience in mind. My audience here was really myself. That's who I had in mind from day one. No disrespect, of course, to the people that watched the film, but the audience was really me. I was making this film for myself. Coming from Siargao, coming from First Love, where I was collaborating, and there was a lot of creative minds that helped put those films together. With MAñANITA, it was really just listening to myself. It was a film for me. I needed to do something like this, just to keep my passion burning. That's why the trust Bela gave me, that was literally the pitch. So, I owe a lot of gratitude, and I'm thankful to Bela for kind of blindly going into the project. But yeah, that's kind of MAñANITA. But yeah, Bela, please also.
Thank you, Sir Pablo, for watching. And Manay, thank you po. Manay and Bel, maraming salamat sa pagnood. Ako rin po, personally, I feel like I'm at a point in my life right now. Now, when I'm not working kasi right now, I'm always alone. So I'm alone every day when I'm not working. So I related very well to Edelberta while shooting. And I am thankful for this project because I was shooting this while taping as a TV show, as a series, yung Sino May Sala. Eh di ba ang ingay-ingay po sa taping na minsan nakakabingi yung ingay na you don't hear your own thoughts anymore. So I felt like MAñANITA was a break for me from my crazy soap life. So kung MWF, nagsusoap ako, TTHS was my rest because I was able to play a character who I felt at that time was very much like me. So I wouldn't say it was tough. Also, I want to say thank you to the team of TEN17p and VIVA Films kasi they took care of me so well. Pag naka-prosthetics ako, this is the first project that I did na pag naka-prosthetics, ginagalang nila yung oras na dapat lang nakalagay yung prosthetics. Kasi all the other projects I did before na naka-prosthetics, wala silang pakialam kung bukas dumudugo na yung mukha mo. Pero dito, binibilang talaga rin yung oras. After a certain number of hours, they let me go home because they knew that I was doing other projects. So, in terms of being the project being tough, I wouldn't say it was tough. For an actor, I think this would be a dream project because they gave me so much freedom. Like Direct Paul would direct me in every scene, but while shooting it na, yung duration of each scene, he would let me do what I want. So, thank you also Direct Paul for allowing me to express myself in Edelberta's shoes, I guess. It's the first time I've done anything like this. And as you watched po nung isang araw, wala nga masyadong dialogue. So, I had to be creative for the scenes to not look alike, I guess. And that was exciting for me. Because I feel like baka wala nang dumating sa akin na project na ganito ka iba and ganito ka ganda. So, I'm thankful that I was able to do it.
Yeah, thank you. And I really like the performance in the film, yeah. Especially the ending.
Salamat po.
Master Amoyo. Hello. Hindi pa rin siya nag-microphone. Direct, why single out Bela for this role? And Bela, how was it like working with that Paul?
I've always wanted to work with her. I'm actually, one of her biggest fans. I love Cindy Gallen. I told her this. I love her Stella. So, also as a movie fan, I was a big fan of her. I love what she was doing. I love the choices she was making, and I've always wanted to work with her. So, of course, the industry being very small, we bump into each other at events. Eventually, we tried to meet. There were some scripts, some concepts that we had that scheduling wasn't working. And we just constantly kept in touch. And one day I texted her and said, hey, look, I know we're meeting next week, right? We're going to talk about some concepts. Can I pitch you another project? She says, yeah, sure. We're out there in MAñANITA. And so we met. She said yes. And we made MAñANITA. So,
ako naman po, it was very easy to work with Derek Paul kasi he knew what he wanted from the start for the film. Since nga, as he said earlier, he is his own audience. Alam na niya yung gusto niya mangyari each scene. So, I feel like naka-storyboard na sa utak niya yung mga eksena. Pati yung shots, kasi hindi niyo nakikita. Minsan may eksena ako naglalakad. Makikita niyo po naglalakad ako. Ang hindi niyo nakita, pinaglakad niya na ako ng mga 1 kilometer bago ako pumasok sa screen. So, may process po siya ng ibang-iba. So, by the end of the film, feeling ko talaga sundalo na ako kasi sinusuot ko every shooting, lahat ng suot nila. Hindi siya daya lang na kung ano lang yung nakikita, yun lang yung susuotin ko. Pinapasuot sa akin yung scarf sa loob, pinapasuot sa akin yung medyas talaga ng sundalo eh. Nag-shooting po kami sa Pampanga. So, very different, which I appreciated kasi noong una, mahirap, pero eventually, ang dali pumasok sa character ni Edelberta because they require those things of me. And I'm happy because they were with me every step of the way, from training down to the last shooting day. I really felt like buong-buo yung project, which is very weird because I was expecting na hindi ganon because we only had 8 pages of script. But actually, this is one of the most organized film productions I've worked with, so I'm very thankful. Obviously, siya yung head nun, so his team takes after him, I'm sure. And yun, it's very easy to work with Derek Paul. And like he said, it's been a few years na lagi kami nag-iisip ng concepts to work with each other. In fact, last year, nung nag-asap Hawaii, and I was telling him this, kachika ko si Tony, because I worked with Tony before Paul. And Tony was telling me na yun nga sana we all get to work with each other. So when this project came along, I said yes right away.
Yours, MAñANITA.
Ginagamit ko sa Davao para to tasty ang attack. Don't you want to invite the Vice President?
She's in charge of the drug.
Yes, now.
Well, definitely. I personally do not know her, so but of course it would be more than an honor if actually even if the president can also watch it. So just to kind of see and to feel a little bit more of the situation of the quote unquote drug war today. So yeah, thank you, man. I mean, thank you for coming to the premiere. I saw you there.
Ano ba? Oh! Sige po.
Sulat din namin na
Please,
Sige
please,
po, pwede po. Pwede po.
kahit somehow.
Alright, yes, I also don't personally
Ayaw
know.
na namin patayan.
Opo, and this is
Thank you,
very
Manay. That would mean a lot to us. Yeah.
yes.
Few days.
Oh yeah.
Before the show me.
We can maybe even do a special.
It's also right about it.
Okay. Sige po, we'll try.
Probably sila din request for special.
Okay, opo. We'll try to get in touch with her.
Thank you, Manay. Okay, yeah, that's great advice.
Hello.
I'm not glad in the vlog.
Oh.
And watching in your video, of course, you're very beautiful person.
Thank you.
Inside out. And it's the first time that you have so many scars on your face. So how did you feel your character that there's this much scars in your face? And of course, the character is more showing outside, but there are things that are inside that you can not show. How does it affect your life, those scars?
Right. It's actually not my first time to wear prosthetics for a role, but ito kasi whole project, naka-prosthetics ako. And to be honest, kasi when I prepare for a role, I start with the physical aspect. So, kung yung role ko kailangan magpagupit, like for me, Kinsing galing, automatic nag-iiba na kagad yung, I guess, yung perspective ko as a person. And it's easier for me as an actress to change my acting style because my hair is different or my clothes are different. So, this time, they gave me prosthetics and it's nice because it took away the fact that, kasi sanay po tayo diba dito sa soap, kailangan kahit bagong gising ka, naka-curlash ka, naka-lip tint ka, laging ang ganda-ganda sa soap kahit na pag naglalaba ka lang, kailangan naka-cheek tint. So, dito, since I had prosthetics on, it took away the pressure of looking good. So then I could just start focusing on the performance, which is, I guess, one factor to be thankful for because there was no pressure for me to look a certain way. In fact, most of the scenes, wala na, ang gulo lang talaga ng itsura. Pag tinali yung buhok ko ng umaga, hindi na namin tinatanggal yun hanggang gabi, yun ang itsura ko. So, ayun. It was nice for me, it was a nice experience, very different. It's also easier kasi when you see yourself in the mirror, and you don't look like yourself anymore, it's easier to detach from, I guess, being Bela than being Adelberta. Like, it's easier to play around. And also, I hope this also sends out a message to not, look at the person because of their scars or because of what they're bringing inside them, but instead really try to know them. Yeah.
Jojo Pananita.
Why is it important for you to express your silence at this time in the industry or in your life or anywhere?
Well, I feel the best way to express myself is through cinema. I'm not one to talk too much on social media. I'm not one to, write so much online. So how I express myself is really through my cinema. And I guess for me, ever since I immersed on and started researching on this kind of style, transcendental style, it didn't just relate to me as a filmmaking style, but also kind of how I live my life. I guess just to give kind of a background, transcendental cinema is kind of the opposite of what cinema kind of gives us. The cinema we are used to is very aggressive. It's fast, it's cutty, boom, boom, boom. With transcendental, we're the opposite of that. It's kind of the art of the mundane. And kind of just how I live my life too, very just behind the camera, silent, quiet. It's kind of just also myself as a person. Yeah, so it's really personal in that regard. That's really who I am. Actually, you get to know me. My closest friends can actually, speak to you guys. They'll probably just say I'm just like that. I take my time. I'm very quiet. I'm very internal. Actually for me, very grateful that I'm able to express this through cinema. Because it's not all the time you get to do cinema like this. But I'm able to do it. I guess that's just the result of all the hard work, all the experience that I've been part of for 13 years. That I finally get to do a passion project, film for myself. And to have an audience like you guys, to have the Japanese audience appreciate that, it's humbling.
Ako natanong kasi parang the more, usually the more naging successful ang director, they need to be more ambitious in their project. Gawa na yung epic movie, ganyan. Pero kung yung more pa-inward,
well, I guess maybe this is my ambitious. Right? Maybe me personally, obviously every filmmaker, every director is their own artist. They have their own voice, and whatever is ambitious to them is ambitious to them. Maybe this is ambitious to me. This is just really kind of who I am.
Okay, Bella. I've watched many of your films. What if this time your fans tell you, Bella, I don't really enjoy that? How would you react?
Thank you for your question. First off, they were invited to the screening, and I'm happy because they all loved me. So that made me feel good because I don't only think of myself. The first person I consider when I shoot a movie is my mom. Kung hindi ko siya may invite sa premiere night, hindi ko pa din gagawin yung project. Kasi she really guides me through my life. So if my mom can't watch something I did, baka I can't be proud of it. And my mom also loves MAñANITA, so she's my #1 fan. If my mom says it's good, then for me it's good. Second, I was interviewed about this before, and I always say, when you go inside a restaurant, the customer doesn't tell the chef what to cook. Instead, the chef prepares an entree that he's proud of, and he cooks it well, so you come back for it. So I don't think we should keep on listening to what people say we should shoot. Instead, we shoot something good and tell them this is what you should be watching. So yun po.
Is there a point think that you almost ask direct, should you continue lessons?
No. No po. Gusto niya po sana. Mahihain po yung mami ko. Pero, hindi po eh. Opo eh. Hindi nabigyan ng chance. Opo.
Mars Daniel.
Friday. Hi, Direk. I failed to ask you this last Saturday. We counted the number of bottles ng beer.
Yes.
Sabi mo, there's a record of, only counted 14, but sabi mo 16 bottles. So, is that true beer, Direk? Yeah.
It was, yes. I actually personally like beer. So when their call made me choose, do you want water or real beer? Siyempre, mas gusto ko na yung totoong beer para totoo na yung lakad mo na medyo lasing. No, it's funny kasi sa Japan, yun yung icebreaker lagi ng press or ng audience sa amin na you like beer? That's always the first question. So our producer, Bianca, and I counted when we watched in Tokyo, and it was 16 bottles na pinakita sa screen. But obviously, it was more than that kasi iba-ibang angle. It was a nice shooting experience.
You're yung burping mo Pag tigay mo, talaga na.
Totoo na po eh. Totoo na kasi beer na talaga Opo.
And regarding to sa rifle assembly,
Yes.
so it said in the press na in 1 minute, you can assemble it na. And
Is it 1 minute? I don't know, but
average.
I didn't know it was 1 minute. But yeah, it's funny because I did this in school before. Parang lahat naman tayo required, diba, COCC or ACP. I had to assemble rifles before in CSA for ACP. And pag tinatime kayo, gusto mo magmadali diba? Pero feeling ko dito bilang Edelberta, and since our film was so slow, I never hurried while assembling the rifle. I took my time. Kasi if you notice, mas madalas ka-eksena ko yung baril kaysa tao. So I treated the gun like a friend. So I took my time with the gun. I didn't know it was 1 minute, but yeah, it was unconscious.
Will it lead you to owning a gun yourself?
No, never. No. We're very non-violent. I feel like maybe it's a blessing that I was able to do this film because it teaches people na, yun nga, as Derek Paul would always say, you can fight violence with peace. And that's exactly what this movie is trying to say. And I personally believe in that.
Okay. In direct Paul, I asked you, did I get you running time ng film mo? And then you joke this for hours. And then I thought, I love you really important. So, I was impressed by your cinematography and your night scenes, especially para sa may night vision, sa camera na ginamit mo. So, hindi ka ba mababahala na it's because it's a love this film, you stand in love this in what you injected in most occasions, especially mga late range.
Well, definitely, his style of filmmaking had a big influence on the treatment of the film. But I would like to think and I would like to hope that I also put my own voice into it, my own take into it. And I hope that's what you can appreciate also. Okay? It's about 2.5 hours, so it's not 4 hours, it's 2.5 hours. But yeah, so I'm hoping, like I said, I studied the treatment, Loud Style, Schrader, Ozu, Tarkovsky. I watched as much as I can about and read about these masters. And then what I learned for the last 3 years, I tried to inject that in MAñANITA. Because it was a treatment I fell in love with. And hopefully it has my own voice. Hopefully when you see it, you can see where I took my risks. And hopefully you can appreciate what I was trying to do as well. Thank you, Mark.
Hello.
First question for you, Bela, because you mentioned about the prosthetics. So I just like to know, does the prosthetics or the character of the designer magkwento yung story ba niya, direct call yung why she kind of earned those scars? Meron bang background story on why she earned those scars, or it's really, part of this?
Yeah, yes, they did say in the film. We did say in the film why she has scars. So, ano naman, na-explain naman siya.
And I think, Bella, this is one sabi mo earlier, this is one of those many moments that it's a very glamorized role, if that's the term. So you said it was a little bit, you were more comfortable in doing it this time.
Yes, I guess so, yeah.
Why is that, aside from not feeling conscious?
I think that's basically just not being conscious of how you look. It takes a lot of time out of preparing. I mean, we had to retouch the prosthetics a couple of times a day because it was very hot. So minsan natatanggal siya. But imagine if I had to look good while walking in the landscapes of Pampanga. It would have been more tedious for everybody, for the makeup artist, for the production, because they would have to wait longer. And for me also, because I had to be more conscious of how I looked. I think that's one of the reasons why it was easy for me to shoot, because I didn't have to think of the other side of my face na it had to look good.
Yeah. Paul, I'm curious because obviously as it's already in the press release that it's based on Open MAñANITA. But how much percentage of the story did you take from that operation to put into the story? And of course, why decided to film it in Pampanga when I think the whole scenario really happened in Bela?
Thank you for the question. The true to life events of the MAñANITA project really sparked the idea. But the film is not about it. The film is about Idelberta, a sniper, on a journey to forgiveness, or a journey to find or patch up things from her past. But the story of the MAñANITA cops, you will see it subtly into the film. So it is there, although the film is not about it. That's why we took the liberty to shoot it also in Pampanga. It was really a choice of mine because I wanted a dry, kind of hot-looking terrain. That was kind of the look, the color of the north was that was looking for. Thank you.
Mark.
Hello, Bela. Sa paggawa niyo ng pelikula na ito, ano yung parang learning experience mo sa character after doing this or any realization?
Ewan ko, feeling ko po ngayon parang sa film choices or maybe choosing this project, I could see that I matured even as a person. This is a very quiet film. Halos lahat po ng movie na nagawa ko lagi, 2 characters lang, tapos puro dialogue driven na ang dami-daming sinasabi lagi ng characters ko. But here you can see that you can say a lot without saying anything at all. And that's, even for people, I feel that's very hard to accept. Kasi, especially, I'm not sure if it's an Asian thing or it's even like a Filipino thing, we're very quick to say what we think. But sometimes, you can keep it to yourself and allow things to happen naturally. And I think that's what this film is about also. She followed life's progression. And I want to do that too as a person. I guess ang learning ko dito is I'm happy I saw myself mature through this film. I think with every character kasi that we are blessed to do, meron kang nauuwi or may natututunan ka rin about yourself. So yun, kaya ko palang gumawa ng ganitong pelikula.
Okay, I guess what I learned is if you really work hard, you can do passion projects. I mean, the bigger picture. Obviously, like I said, I fell in love with this style, and to be able to, work in this industry where it's hard to gain trust, to have people, to have actors work with you, and you really can't tell them too much about the story. So I guess I really learned is that if you follow your heart, follow your passion, you can do great things, and you just gotta keep on going.
Hi, good afternoon. A lot of the scenes were long, or at least they seemed to not have cuts. Did you have retakes, and what was the hardest scene to shoot?
Did we have retakes? We did. We would do take 2, take 3. I think just around that much. We didn't really do too many takes. Sometimes you do another take just for technical reasons, because if nakarap yung file na yan, diba, you can't go back and shoot again. So you should just do one more for, they say, safety. The hardest to shoot, well, for me, I guess was the opening scene. In terms of just the logistics that went behind it. In terms of 2 days before that, the crew already had to go there because we were in the mountains. We had to do, it's like your car can only go so close, and then it's a 20 to 45-minute hike to the spot, and then another hour to the location of the Nipa hut. So to bring cranes, cameras, I know the crew was there as early as 9 p.m. the day before. And I arrived around 2, Bela around 3 in the morning. So it took about 2 hours to do prosthetics, and we had to get the sunrise. So around 4 a.m. we were blocking out. And literally, and I'm sure Bela can tell you more, but she literally, from like 4:30 in the morning up to like 10, 11, she was nakatapalang siya dun sa actual bundok, and that was really full of rocks and dirt. And we didn't have her move because I was chasing the sun. So I just had no time to relax. And I had 2 cameras, so I was always rolling. I was rolling what she was looking at and what she was doing. And we had to get the sunrise, and there's no take 2 at sunrise, So very professional effort to just be in character for technically 7 to 8 hours straight. And then when I said cut, I could see she wanted to throw the gun at me or something. No, she did great. That was intense.
For Bela, what was the hardest scene for you?
Ano ba? We shot the whole movie chronologically. So from scene 1 to the last scene, talagang binigay nila ng chronological, which was so nice kasi by the middle, nararamdaman ko na yung anxiety ni Adalberto na matapos yung mission niya. So I really followed the progression of the character. So I would say naman, the hardest scene for me to shoot would be the last scene because that meant the end of her journey. And it was if you watched it, it's a very emotional scene that we had to do twice. Because there's a top shot and a shot sa harap. And I was very scared because baka hindi ko matuloy yung ginawa ko nung take 1 sa pag umangat na yung mukha. And they gave me time, but ang ganda kasi may music, may nakita ko na yung MAñANITA cups and everything. Nakakadala siya. So it was hard. Also, I guess, technically kasi ganun ulit, nakadaba ulit, hawak na naman ako ng baril. Tuloy-tuloy kasi yung shuttle, from getting there to assembling the gun to basta that whole scene, the last 15 minutes was parang one continuous action. But they gave me the option if I wanted to cut in the middle and shoot the second half later on. But we tried it first, one whole day, and it worked. So, yun na, I think mas kinabahan lang ako na baka hindi ko ma-pull off. But it was, I liked it.
Thank you.